Welcome to The Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something, well, really fascinating about power and influence. It's often not what you think. Have you ever noticed that? How some people just walk into a room and command attention without saying a word, while others, they can talk and talk, be really loud, but they just don't seem to land. It's like there's this invisible quality. So our mission today is to explore that hidden side of power, this almost ghost-like presence. We're looking at sources that suggest something pretty radical, actually. The idea is the less you reveal, the more powerful you become.
Sounds like a contradiction, right?
It really does on the surface. But what we're diving into here isn't power in the, let's say, traditional sense, like money or titles.
Yeah.
It's more about an internal state, a kind of projected presence. It's not about grabbing things outside yourself, but mastering what's inside.
Mm-hmm.
It really starts with self-control, doesn't it? How you manage yourself. And that naturally influences how others see you, how they react. Exactly. And these sources lay out 5, let's call them silent rules, that apparently anyone can use to cultivate this kind of presence. We're not talking about shouting matches or big speeches here. Think more like psychological tools, hidden principles, things that can give you more influence than, well, armies, more respect than money, potentially. So yeah, get ready for maybe a few aha moments today. Okay, let's jump into the first one. This really flips the script on what most of us believe. Rule number 1, talk a lot less silence is a weapon. I mean, we usually think being powerful means dominating the conversation, filling the space, right? Having the last word.
Mm-hmm. That's the common assumption.
But these sources say, nope, the opposite. The more you talk, the more you leak. Information, leverage, vulnerabilities.
It's so true. And the cost of that leakage is often, well, completely underestimated. If you look back through history, the really great strategists, they knew the power of silence. It wasn't just about keeping secrets quiet.
Yeah.
It's a psychological play. Silence creates this vacuum. It makes other people uncomfortable.
Oh, interesting. So they rush to fill it.
Exactly. They reveal their hand. Think about Napoleon Bonaparte. Apparently, he was notorious for being quiet in meetings, just listening.
And that made people uneasy.
Deeply uneasy. His generals never quite knew what he was thinking, what the next move was. And that uncertainty, that kept them off balance. It gave him a huge advantage.
Wow. Okay. So it's strategic silence.
Precisely. And it's not just ancient history. You see it in other contexts, too, like Carlo Gambino, the mafia boss. He wasn't known for big speeches. Quite the opposite. He spoke very little. But when he did say something, people listened like it was gospel.
Because it was rare.
Exactly. His words had weight because they were scarce. And psychologically, what happens is silence breeds mystery. People start projecting onto you. They might think you're smarter or more dangerous or wiser than you are simply because you haven't given them anything concrete to contradict it. Your eventual words land with much more force.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like you gain gravity by holding back.
Sure.
So for someone listening thinking, okay, I talk too much, what's the practical step? The power move, right? The sources suggest this. In your next conversation, just try it. Aim to cut your words by, say, half. Instead of jumping in immediately to respond, just pause. Let that silence hang for a second or two longer than usual. You might be surprised. People often lean in. They might even get a bit anxious trying to fill the gap. That silence, that's you controlling the pace, the dynamic. It's a form of dominance, really. Okay, that leads perfectly into the next rule, which is also about internal control. Rule number 2, remain calm. Always the storm that never breaks.
This is a tough one, I think.
Yeah.
Because getting triggered feels so human. Anger, frustration, and panic, they flash across our faces, right?
They do. And in this framework, those visible emotional reactions are seen as signals of weakness. If someone knows they can push your buttons and get a reaction, well, they kind of own a piece of you then, don't they?
Yeah, they control your state. Exactly. Whereas remaining calm, especially when everything around you is chaotic or someone's directly provoking you, that's a rare and, frankly, sometimes terrifying display of power. Think about Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. He was dealing with constant wars, plagues, betrayals, just unimaginable stress.
Right, the Stoic emperor.
Yes. And he wrote extensively about needing to be like that rock, the one the waves just crash against but can't move. His calmness wasn't just personal. It was a source of stability for the whole empire. It stopped panic from spreading.
So it's a leadership quality, too.
Absolutely. Or look at modern times. Warren Buffett. How did he make so much money? Partly by being unnervingly calm during market crashes. While everyone else was panicking, selling low, he was calmly looking for opportunities, buying assets cheap. He turned widespread fear to his advantage.
Because he wasn't swept away by the emotion.
Precisely. Calmness isn't passive. It's an active assertion of supreme control over your internal state. When you're the calm one, while others are losing it, you instantly seem above the fray. People sense you know something they don't, or that you have a resilience they lack, and that perception grants you immense respect.
It's like being the eye of the hurricane. Okay, so practically speaking, someone's yelling at you, trying to get a rise out of you. What does the source say to do? Yeah, the power move here is subtle but effective. The next time someone tries to provoke you in an argument, maybe even just bad traffic, try this. Just hold their gaze, maybe offer a very faint, almost imperceptible smile, and stay completely unshaken. The source suggests your calmness, your refusal to take the bait, will often unnerve them far more than any angry retort could. You've essentially refused to play their game, and that flips the power dynamic instantly. All right, moving on. Rule number 3, observe everything. The eyes that see too much. This one feels key. So many of us are just not really paying attention, are we? We're stuck in our own heads thinking about what we're going to say next or how we look.
That's a very common human tendency. We're often more focused inward than outward. But powerful individuals, according to this perspective, operate differently. They are relentless observers. They notice things.
What kind of things are we talking about? Like small details.
Exactly. The tiny things most people miss. A flicker in someone's eyes when they might be bending the truth. Who looks at whom when a sensitive topic comes up? Who stays silent when a key decision is being made? These aren't random details, they're data points. They reveal underlying currents, unspoken alliances, hidden anxieties. Think Sherlock Holmes, okay, fictional but based on a real person? Dr. Joseph Bell, who is famous for his incredible observational skills.
He could tell a man's life story from his hat or whatever, right?
Pretty much. It was about ruthless observation, as Holmes called it. Or in a real-world context, think about FBI profilers. They're trained to spot micro-expressions.
It's tiny facial twitches.
Yes, those split-second expressions that betray real emotion, fear, contempt, joy, even when someone's trying to hide it. Observation isn't passive listening. It's active intelligence gathering. It gives you a massive advantage because while others are reacting to the surface, you understand the deeper game, you can anticipate moves, maybe even shape outcomes because you see the hidden dynamics.
That's like seeing the code behind the matrix or something. So how do we start practicing this? Become better observers. The advice is actually pretty simple, deceptively so. Next time you're in a meeting or even just the social gathering, make a conscious effort to talk less and watch more. Really focus, notice the body language, who makes eye contact with whom, who leans in, who pulls back. Listen to the silences as much as the words. You'll start to see those invisible power lines, those subtle currents of influence and deference that are always there just beneath the surface. It's about tuning in. Okay, number 4 follows nicely from observation. Rule number 4, make eye contact the silent lock of authority. Our eyes, they're powerful, aren't they?
Immensely powerful. They communicate so much without a single word. Connection, intimidation, trust, fear. It's all there in the gaze. And the sources we looked at are very clear on this. Consistently avoiding eye contact tends to signal insecurity, maybe even deception, whereas holding someone's gaze, that signals presence, confidence, authority.
It feels like such a basic thing, but so many people struggle with it.
It is basic, but it taps into something deeply primal. Sustained eye contact can actually be uncomfortable for the person on the receiving end, but it also commands respect. It sends a very clear message. I see you. I'm not intimidated. I'm fully present here.
Are there examples of this being used strategically?
Oh, absolutely. Think about some historical figures known for their charisma or dominance. Adolf Hitler, for instance, was known for his piercing, unblinking gaze. Observers often describe feeling frozen or mesmerized by it. It was undoubtedly a tool he used to exert control.
Wow, that's intense.
It is. Or, more recently, Steve Jobs. People talk about his reality distortion field.
Yeah.
Right? His ability to convince people of almost anything. Part of that was reportedly his incredibly intense eye contact. Employees often described it as both inspiring and, frankly, terrifying at times.
So it's potent. But is there a risk of overdoing it, coming across as aggressive?
That's the crucial nuance. Yes. Too much sustained eye contact can feel aggressive or challenging. Too little feels weak or shifty. The real power lies in controlled, steady eye contact, holding it confidently, meeting the other person's gaze, and then choosing when you break it off, not looking away out of nervousness, but as a deliberate choice. It's about calm assertion, not aggression.
Okay, controlled and intentional. Got it. So what's the power move for listeners to try? Here's a simple exercise from the source. In your next conversation that feels important, try holding eye contact just a second or two longer than you normally would, longer than feels completely comfortable. Pay attention to their reaction. You might notice a slight shift, maybe they blink more or hesitate slightly in their speech. That little moment, that's you subtly establishing your presence, your authority in the interaction, according to this view. All right, that brings us to the fifth and final rule. And this one really ties things together, I think. Rule number 5, value your time. More time is the currency of kings. This feels like the ultimate power paradox. It's not about flexing muscles, but about how you manage minutes and hours.
It sounds mundane, perhaps, but it's incredibly profound. Think about it. How you treat your own time sends a powerful nonverbal signal about your own value. If you let people waste your time, if you're always available at a moment's notice, if you don't guard your schedule, you're subconsciously telling the world that your time isn't particularly valuable. And by extension, neither are you.
Ouch. But true.
Well, contrast that with someone who treats their time as incredibly precious. Think of, say, Elon Musk. Reports say his meeting time can cost thousands per minute. Why? Because it's scarce. He guards it fiercely. That scarcity creates perceived value.
Right. It makes access to him a privilege.
Exactly. And this isn't new. Ancient kings often made people wait, sometimes for days, just for an audience. It wasn't just bad scheduling. It was a power play. It made their time, their presence seem sacred.
So valuing your time means being less available, saying no more.
It means exactly that. It means saying no to things that don't align with your core priorities. It means cutting short conversations that are draining you or going nowhere. It means protecting blocks of time for deep work or rest. It means not being endlessly reachable via email or phone. It's fundamentally about setting boundaries and respecting your own limited resources. That self-respect projects outward as confidence and importance.
It's about treating your time like the finite, valuable asset it is. So the final power move. How do we put this into practice? This one requires some honest self-reflection. The advice is, audit your day. Like really track where your time and energy go for a few days. Identify the time sinks. Who are the energy vampires in your life? What activities leave you feeling drained or like you've wasted hours? Be ruthless. Then start cutting them off or reducing your exposure. Set boundaries. The promise from the source is pretty clear. When you start valuing your time, other people will too. And you'll reclaim a huge amount of energy and focus for what truly matters. So let's just recap these 5 rules. Talk less, remain calm, observe everything, make eye contact, value your time. When you put them all together, it really paints a picture of power that's not about noise and aggression, but about silence, control, and presence, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The strongest presence isn't necessarily the loudest. It's the one that doesn't need external validation because it comes from within. They talk less because they're confident. They stay calm because they're internally anchored. They observe because knowledge is power. They hold eye contact because they're unafraid. They value time because they know its true worth.
And what's maybe most striking
is how accessible this is, right? This isn't about needing $1 million or a fancy title. These are internal shifts, changes in mindset and behavior.
Yeah.
Anyone can start cultivating these qualities.
Exactly. The sources essentially say that anyone, yes, you listening right now, can start projecting this kind of unstoppable power starting today. It just takes conscious practice of these principles, master these 5 rules, and just watch how people start responding to you differently, how the world seems to, well, bend a little towards your presence. So the real question is, now that you have this understanding, this different lens on power, what are you going to do with it? Imagine the possibilities.